You know, sometimes just one powerful sentence can completely change how you look at a huge issue. Today, we're going to dive into a statement like that from Professor Abdel Fattah El-Awaisi about Al-Aqsa Mosque. We're going to unpack it piece by piece to really understand the deep theological argument he's making.
So here it is. This is the full statement. It's short for sure, but every single phrase is deliberate and just packed with meaning. What's really striking right off the bat is how it begins, not by telling us what Al-Aqsa is, but by first telling us what it is not.
All right, so the professor's argument kicks off with a really powerful move. Before he even starts building his case for what Al-Aqsa represents, he first clears the board. He challenges and rejects the common and what he sees as limited ways people usually frame its importance.
And this really shows you that shift in perspective he's making. Look on the left. You've got the common ways of looking at it, right? Confining it by nationality as a Palestinian issue, or by ethnicity as an Arab issue. But the professor's framing, over on the right, just breaks right through those boundaries, lifting it up to a universal Islamic issue.
This pivot really gets us to the core question. If the professor is arguing against defining Al-Aqsa's importance through a political or ethnic lens, then where does its true, unshakable significance actually come from? Well, his answer takes us directly away from worldly things and straight into Scripture.
And this brings us to the very first pillar of his argument. He's rooting the sanctity of Al-Aqsa not in human history or identity, but in the divine text itself.
Now, to really get his point, we have to understand this one key Arabic word, ayah. Now, it's usually translated as a verse of the Quran, but its meaning is so much richer than that. It also means a sign or even a miracle from God. So when Al-Aqsa is called an ayah, it's being elevated from just a physical place to a truly divine symbol.
So you see, by calling Al-Aqsa a verse in the Book of Allah, he's saying its significance isn't up for human debate or interpretation. It's actually woven into the very fabric of the Quranic revelation itself. It's being positioned as a direct message, a sign from God.
But the professor doesn't just stop at Scripture. He then takes this Quranic foundation and connects it directly to the personal, living faith of every single Muslim. He's moving the idea from the sacred text right into the believer's heart.
Okay, so this is the crucial part, this link to aqidah, which means creed. In Islamic theology, aqidah isn't just a list of beliefs you agree with, it is the absolute, unshakable foundation of a person's faith. So the professor is arguing that the sanctity of Al-Aqsa is a fundamental piece of that very foundation.
And he makes this connection incredibly clear. He links it directly to the Shahada, the declaration of faith. This is, without a doubt, the single most important statement a Muslim can make. By saying Al-Aqsa is part of the creed of anyone who says these words, he's framing its importance as something you can't separate from the very identity of being a Muslim.
This really lays out the argument in a clear three-step flow. It all starts with the declaration of faith, the Shahada. That declaration then forms a Muslim's core creed, their Aqidah. And from there, the professor makes his powerful conclusion. Al-Aqsa is a non-negotiable, inseparable part of that creed. And so we come full circle, looking at the complete statement now with a totally new understanding. By first rejecting those national limits, then grounding Al-Aqsa in Scripture as a divine sign, and finally weaving it into the core creed of every single believer, Professor El-Awaisi gives us a vision of Al-Aqsa that goes way beyond modern boundaries. The big takeaway is a complete reframing, from a localized issue to a matter of universal faith. And it leaves us with one final thought. What does it really mean when a sacred site is defined not by geography, but by creed?